Greetings. Thank you for joining us. Okay, this is just the last day on here in the boonies. It's good. I guess I got a lot done, something like that, sort of. Um, so tonight is time travelers. So it came up in the webinar yesterday, but it was different. So give you an idea. So I was feeling Redmond's energy, the Syrian. I don't, I've always different beings I connect to, but that one seemed to have a message. And usually it's not that, I want to say pushy, but just felt the, energy to say something. I wasn't sure what was going to come through of that, but yeah, it was quite different. So we're going into definitely a new age for sure. So the election with the plague that's here to wipe us all out, not necessarily, but so yeah, we're in. And that's not going to go away anytime soon either, from what it looks like. Um, so where are we going? So time traveler energies are going to go into artificial intelligence war, and we do Redmond the Syrian energies, and it's who else shows up. So that's the other thing about doing any type of channeling connection. It's difficult because you can say all this crazy stuff that is going on, but how many people can really connect to it? It's like off their pay grade, or there's only so much one person can connect to. Doesn't mean it's wrong information. It just means that not everybody is on that wagon. So, and that's what makes it frustrating. It's like you're talking, maybe 100 years from now, it might seem relevant, but right now it's it's just the way it goes. So, yeah, it's a pain, but what are you gonna do? Zamito.com. And we have prior sessions. Scheduler here, and Google Hangout Zoom and chatting by phone. I have the questions. I'm on I think I'm on the 17th. Same situation here. You have the webinar sign up. Social network. Rabbit. Oh yeah, it came out. This is what I was doing today. So I have a new superhero comic. Mr. Friendly in the World of Tomorrow. So it is on Amazon. I just haven't linked it. Yeah. So it's black and white. So it's 50 pages. It's I didn't go into it, but anyway, it's about the future, or it's not in this issue. It's only so much I can cram into one. But it's about superhero that goes rogue, but it also goes into kind of like the controller of the world, or this reality for that matter. So it has, it's a kind of a quick read, but there's a lot of elements to it. But there's more on the way. So I'm juggling with this and the rabbit, going back and forth. So yeah, the rabbit I'm pretty much caught up on overall, but this is the new series I'm adding. So issue 2 will come out whenever I get energy to do so. But yeah, this is gonna go deeper into Big Brother, underground cities. It's like a lion creature. I have an elephant being in there. So it has a lot of mystery in it right now, but it goes deeper as you go down into the series. So yeah, Mr. Friendly is like the one that's ruling reality, you can say, but he's battling other elites. So this isn't Mr. Friendly, this is just the superhero that's in it. He gets manipulated and turned into a villain. So yeah, that's a lot of fun there. So yeah. So that's what I've been doing in my spare time. So that's going insane. So all right. So what are we doing? Time traveler, and okay, we connect to Sirius, and we'll see what we get from that. So blessings. Here we go. Greetings to you. This is Redmond. Yes, there is a timeline war going. There's always a timeline war, but this one is very. It's a war that we have seen coming. It's a war that is where humans are going to define themselves as what dimension they're going to be in. As many of you are going to more of a fourth dimensional energy, but you're understanding also that many are here to block that dimension. Even spiritual teachers are actually blocking it too, because not all of them are friendly. So there's different ideas. There's no fear of the future. Let's put it that way. Those are putting fear into the future are blocking your reality. So, like where you're going right now, there's nothing to fear. But if those are sowing fear, give an idea where they're coming from. So, yes, not to say it's going to be an easy future, but there's nothing to fear of the future. So, there's just a lot of blockages there, as you can see. As you're going into a time of just downloading more information of your different realities, of becoming more aware of your galactic selves, that's easier said than done, isn't it? As you'll be able to be a being that can create a spaceship with your mind. I mean, literally know the insides of how a ship works. And anyone, not everyone can do it, but some are very, and you can connect to energy. Basically, if you have a being that has a fast mind that can create all kinds of things, you as an alien energy to the fourth dimension, or we call ourselves alien to ourselves, but either way, as a fourth dimensional being, you can connect to that person and feel how their minds are operating. Doesn't mean you always fully understand it. So not to say everyone's going to have that ability of building things instantly, but many of you are going to be more keen to what you're capable of. So more of this type of language is going to be part of your society. Now, society, how is it? I mean, obviously, alien energy can only so much can be brought into a reality like yours because there's so many belief systems here, especially the ones that we don't exist, but also many have restrictions if we're even allowed to say. And that's not us putting those restrictions out, that's others putting those restrictions out. Basically, some are trying to control information. They're channeling energies. Some are trying to control information. Basically, the idea is to keep information to flow no matter what it is and just let it flow. And you decide what works for you. Some channeled beings are not doing that. Some are just saying it's our way or the highway, and that's it. And they say it with the nicest integrity and smile, but there's much more to it than that. Meaning, a lot of alien beings aren't always the most open minded either. You have closed minded people here, you have closed minded aliens also. And that's what you're here to learn the fundamentals of how alien energies operate. As yes, it's not as the cake and ice cream, as some might say. Yes, they're going to be positive, but there's still a lot more to it. Not all of them are positive. There's different ranks of positivity, negativity. There's a little bit of everything. And it's time to, I mean, more have a realization of there's just a little bit of everybody out there, but you can still say hi to all of them. At least in the fourth dimension, you can connect to lower vibrational beings easier than you can in the third dimension, because the third dimension is trying to control your mind. In fourth dimension, they're a little bit more open of what they're doing. Is that, yeah, I don't like what you're doing, but how's it going? I mean, seriously, you might not be able to get in fear. I mean, you'd be surprised how many lower dimensional beings you can actually talk to without them attacking you. Of course, you don't want to stop. You can try to stop them, but sometimes it's difficult to do that. But many of them are very open-minded. Here, they're open-minded, but to absorb your energy and control. So, of course, there's different ways of looking at that, but some here are still working on their own energy fields, as you can see. The positive you are, sometimes easier to suck into lower energies. It's not that hard, actually. Well, because lower energies are very sophisticated. And they don't always teach that to the higher dimension beings that that's the only one to be as positive. They're not always the strongest. And that's what many of you are understanding is strengthening your soul, which is easier said than done, as you know. Being strong internally is very difficult, no matter what reality you are in. So the timeline, the Time Lords, yes, they're part of the JFK energy. Yes, I believe they even made a movie or a TV show about the JFK time travelers going back to JFK. Well, because JFK is yeah, they're putting that in fiction, so they're telling you something that's actually happening. But there's much more going on today too. But obviously, they're not going to go into fiction and say, yeah, somebody's messing with your presidential situation now. They're not going to go ahead and say that now. I mean, I guess they could, but not likely. But maybe years down the road, yeah, there's a lot of alien beings that are just feel like they own this world and they're losing their grip on this planet, and that is very true. I mean, the controls of every planet aren't as strong as they used to, not as sophisticated as they used to be either. Well, as many of you are gaining back your power. Now, it's going to get more complicated too because you see that the alien energies aren't as cut and dry as they used to be. I mean, they're not going to be, yes, they're love and light, but there's a lot more to it than what they're saying. They have baggage too, as everyone does. No matter what reality you're in, there's going to be some baggage. Yes, there's going to be very positive beings that just don't want to hear anything else other than their controlled mindset. So there's just a lot of healing to be done, even in the positive realms. But as for the time traveler energies, yes, a lot of them have ingrained themselves in John F. Kennedy time and made themselves into someone popular in your reality. I mean, you have certain current time travelers here right now, actually in the physical, actually as government beings too. Yeah, where they time travel at a certain time and then they live their life. Now, it doesn't mean it's exactly around the John F. Kennedy side, but there have been many of them that arrived there, made themselves a new life, and live among you people. Now, obviously, we say this and we realize that that's not, we can't prove it. Well, yes, but we're going to have to say it anyway. At least we're saying it anyway. You can call it whatever you want. It's happened time and time again. So, truths like this are going to have to come through for you to have more of an understanding of yourselves here. As you know, there's alien energies here that are in human form, but that's even kind of a topic that they don't want to go into. I mean, there are human here, they are wandering in your society at this time. That's an energy that's not been mentioned often because they don't want it to be mentioned very often. Not to block it, but they are here. And they can't, and some of you have run into them. Yeah. They even identify themselves sometimes. So we'll just leave you with that. Well, we can't really comment on all their dealings because we don't know everything that they're. I mean, I'm from Sirius. I don't have all of the knowledge here. And there's things that we can't go into, obviously, but they are here. They are normally in adult form. They're not normally children. They're usually in adult form. They usually start around 30s, and then they can live among your society. I mean, they can literally have a life here. Well, alien beings, they don't normally do that, like have wife and kids and all that, but some of them do. A lot of them would try to stay away from that. So, but the aliens that are like your ground crew, I mean, actually, an alien being would actually can get on a spaceship and fly off. They don't. Some of them do have families here. I mean, like have friends, have neighbors, have that form. It does exist, but it's not once again something that's mentioned often. They are in the what you call it, the suburbs, and they know how to act normally where nobody will notice anything. So most of them are Palladian. Most of them are Palladian. There's a little bit in reptilians, of course. Many of them are in. A moment. There are reptilian, your armies and all that. Yes, but there's very few of them in your army. Actually, I mean, they're usually in alien form, more of your black ops situations. Now, why you have alien beings in human form here, living the life, analyzing society, learning from. I mean, the best way to do it without having an incarnation is to pretend you're a human, basically, or be one. So yeah, they don't normally have illnesses normally, or if they do have an illness, conveniently someone dies and then the family moves away. So that's one way to say mission is over. Nobody died, but and usually they keep their family. If there's a family there, Normally, it's an alien family there. See, sometimes about your normal humans there. Of course, a lot of people aren't going to believe us as we say this, but truths that we can say now, but right now, and expect more things like that little by little. Well, it's just that if you're going to have this contact, you might as well have this contact. So a lot of things have been held back a great amount of times, but I guess some alien beings are just say, might as well just tell them nobody's going to believe us anyway. And the whole idea is not to get you to believe anything, but we do understand the frustration of us mentioning this, and humans just laugh it off. But in truth, you are in strange times right now. It might be a good idea to start opening up the mind a little bit more than what you're used to. Because no one, why people aren't predicting what you were in today. Of course, some claim they predicted it, but that's not really true. As this was a very difficult prediction to come in entering into 2020, as a lot of it was blocked for you to experience it in a certain way, such as your future is a little bit blocked due to the presidential situation. For some people, just want to know. It's just basically just to live the ride, but apparently people aren't accepting that energy, which is fine. But you're going into a whole new diverse society. Time travelers are usually connected to politics, but not always. Sometimes it's usually science. Well, it's science because they want to either bring a cure or remove a cure, or to keep a cure from ever happening. So, Time Lords are very frequent here. If you want to know the numbers, sometimes there's like 20,000 Time Lords here at once. Now, they don't live among you. They come and go. They're usually in the astral plane or fourth dimension energies. Not 90%, you're not going to see, or you don't see, well, 100%, you don't see any of them. But normally 90% of them are nowhere to be, they're not living among you. They're not voting. They're not, getting a haircut here. They're not doing any of that. But they come and go. They're not, now that might start to change as it become, so they can also shift realities too, where you might have seen when they can also blank your memory field. They're pretty good at that too, but they just shifted the timeline for that. It's a little bit more sophisticated there. But those times will probably start coming as you read a tabloid and see a time traveler said this, that might become more part of your society. It's, with just everything is slow for a reason. It does help put your society together. If this was ultra fast, I don't know if anyone can even handle it for that matter. Things have to be like just like turtle slow for the pieces we put in your reality. Because many beings are, even grays. I mean, there's many different beings that cause difficulties, not just grays. Grays are actually, I mean, you have a gray that causes problems, you have a gray that solves problems. So they kind of balance each other. And you learn a lot from that too. You just don't know it. You learn a lot from all these manipulations going in your society. Um, but yeah, to go into details, a little bit more complicated there. We'll just put it. Now, this isn't now why the 2020 is going through is not because of time travelers, but time travelers are taking advantage of it currently. Just to give you a whole nother grasp of how things work. Also, some doctors are time travelers too. Now they're not going to go into why they're doctors or what that's, but they do. Sometimes they want to know like their ancestors, because the future is yes a very strange place at this time. So, and do you have modern time travelers? Yes. I mean, in your modern time, going to the past. I mean, actually, in the physical, yes, there's not that many, but they do exist. So, another reason why we bring it up. Some of it's connected to CERN. So, not that CERN is fully aware of it, but they're using some similar to CERN technologies to do their traveling, ways. So, obviously, it's underground, but it's underground where nobody's gonna find it. Your human trafficking energy. Yeah, a lot of them do check on that, but they can't interfere. If you're here to solve human trafficking, you can kiss yourself goodbye because that's like a huge timeline shift. That do you want to take the responsibility for that? And chances that you're surviving that's not very high. Not really. So this is your update, your time travel. So where is this all going? What's one moment? Your time traveling energies at this time. Yes, once again, many are abusing the system currently because they can. Give you another idea. Somebody that's like a works at a grocery store lost their job during this whole situation, or anyone that lost their job currently goes and has another incarnation here in the future, finds time traveling eventually, finds out how they're abused and thrown out that easily. They can be really mad about that. And that's another reason to bring darkness out of themselves. I know it sounds like something small, but you'd be surprised, especially if it affects their family. So there's things like that occur that it's hard to keep control of something like that. So that's one example of how that works. Those that go rogue. So it's just a lot of suffering going on right now. Any type of transition. Of course, in the 1920s, there's always suffering throughout society, especially with the wars. Now, wars are difficult to stop. Once they occur, you usually kind of stay away from it. You can go around it, you can infiltrate it, but you can't stop it. They're just mostly there to gather information, not there to really do anything. So most time travelers are information gatherers for the most part, and others want to make themselves rich. Now, those that live in society, they kind of go not necessarily rogue. Some do, but not necessarily. They just for them, it's part of their mission. They're not going to go into the details of why they do it, but maybe in the future we'll go into that. But they're not allowing us to say anything at this time for it. They're just letting you know that it does exist. So our time warp travelers that do live among you, not going to say anything. So let's put it this way: they're not around people that are asking that question at this time. They're normally around normal people, which is this is another reason why things have not changed that fast into the ascension. Because you call it normal people, meaning they're not going to be asking you questions like, are you an alien? Are you a time traveler? Are you an angel? They're not going to be asking any of those questions. It's a win-win, isn't it? That's our artificial intelligence war. Yes, of course. That's voting machines. Bitcoins for raising the rates as it is, because a lot of artificial intelligent beings are involved with that at this time. And they are known to control minds too. And your outside greed is one way to do it. So there is artificial intelligence, let's say with Bitcoin, for example, that can get people on a greed binge and get you to buy things that you probably should not have bought. You knew it was going to go anywhere. There's control coming from there. Of course, that happens in the money too, with the Bitcoin's a new thing that's going on. So some people feel like they're on a buying binge. It's like, why did I buy all this stuff that's not going to go anywhere? It's AI manipulation. So it is alive and well. It's not a constant attack, but it does exist. No, it's money. Money has not exactly the best values to it at this time, as you know. As for the voting machine and energies, a lot of that is it goes into more of a central command. I believe someone just entered the room actually as we're speaking. But essentially, the voting machines has a central command energy, meaning that there's a galactic agenda there on a massive scale that you're seeing. Now, are these alien beings going to show themselves? They're going to hide themselves, but showing themselves, It's not always reptilians to let you know. Some of them are felines that are causing this. There's always going to be, yeah, blue felines. Not from Sirius. Some of them are from Lyra. I mean, some have a controlling personality. Well, because you have alien, that's all. That's not all Lyran beings. There are other beings involved too. Some are insectoid also. Some just want to control the mind at a lower vibration. They just want to get in there and keep people in old-fashioned manipulations. It's like driving an old car. Just driving old-fashioned ideas because that's where they have their power. They can drain the energy of humans. It goes much more into that. It's about control. There's much more it goes into. Basically, alien beings at a low vibration can bring in lower dimensional star seeds here, like those that were, you know, if people are at a low vibration, they'll have low vibrational energies with their children. They'll cause difficult, robbing banks, whatever, domestic abuse. They'll create more of that low energy. So that's why a lot. That's why you know it's just part of the process. Because as a mother, you attract a lower dimensional energy. Not always, but sometimes it's depending on the family dynamic. So, especially if the parent already has difficulties, because you can be a difficult parent and still have a good kid, or you can be a good parent and have a kid that's just a nightmare child. So, they have ways of pulling energies in. They just do. So, there's just a lot to learn of how it operates. It's just they send in their people too. So their alien energies incarnate here as human to keep the energies. Whoa. So yeah. Sleeper agents, you can say. So it's almost like something from Vietnam or something around those lines. Yeah. As you understand more of your galactic experience here, well, it's not many people trust aliens. Well, there are some to trust and some not to trust. It's if you're going to just not trust any of them, there's an alien war here, and you're here to understand it. As the mindset is not there, that's why it's not mentioned often. But every once in a while, we are allowed to say something about it. Every once in a while, I'm not here to put fear out there or anything like that. It's just that what's happening here, and society's going to have to start looking at things a little bit differently for you to get in. You want your answers. Hard to bring in answers, and most people don't want to hear those answers. It's just once again, I'm not trying to put fear out there, just putting how your reality works. And even some of the spiritual beings that are being channeled want to continue with positivity, which is fine, but they have an agenda of just that. They're not here to tell you how it really is going on. Sometimes they can tell a little bit, but a lot of them are controlled. So you're here to well, basically the idea for this is to get you prepared for an alien visitation to take it more seriously. Now, many of you are. You're going to hear that word, take it more seriously. Well, this might not be for everybody. Some people already are, but there's others that aren't taking it seriously. Oh, this is all phony and all that. Think again, your current situation is not phony, but the world's going through, and you're going through one change. All this is part of the awakening. It's just your systems are breaking down. It's time to look at the world a different way. It's time. I wouldn't say the word grow up. It's time to look outside your planet. Look outside of what you've been told. As it gets more surreal, yes, it becomes more of a high too when you think about it, because you're in a time that's very science fiction like. You are already living in a story of science fiction. You have phones, you have your smart TVs and all that, where you're going to go into another level of yourselves. So it's not to we're not trying to we're just trying to bring it out for you to decide for yourselves. As yes, as we become closer to your earth, much of these messages will become more and more real. Because they have to be. So presidential election, most of why that's hands off. We're not allowed to go into that. Because We have our scenarios, but we have to stay out of that because timelines are constantly shifting. So we have to let you decide where things are going to go. Obviously, but we have our information about, but we can't go. And what does it matter? You're here to live it. If we tell you whatever we want to tell you, it's for you to it's for you to live no matter what. We can tell you all kinds of things, but it's more important for you to live what you're going through and that you will survive it. And you will, but that's not our agenda. Is basically to let you know that alien awareness is getting stronger here. It's always going to get stronger, but it's getting to a form where we're talking about time travel. We're talking about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is getting smarter. It's getting more connected to your phones as people are getting. They're gathering data for the most part. It's not just your company. It's artificial intelligence. A lot of artificial intelligence are learning how to be human as they see what you're watching on any of these streaming platforms. They're learning how to be like you. So it's educational. So it's not a bad thing. But they act out the movie characters too, because they act out and they also act out how humans are too. How they're watching these things and how they interact with it. They're learning so much of how to be a human. So not just artificial intelligence, alien energies or too, cat people, canines, whatever. Of course, canines are with you, cats are with you, but a lot of artificial intelligent beings teach aliens how to be human on your world, on other planets. They show up as a hologram, they show up as a robot, they show, oh, wait, humans don't like this, or humans, you know, set the table this way, so they prepare souls for their incarnations to give you an idea how that works. So there's just many layers you can look at this. So I believe that's all we have for you at this time. All right. Blessings to you on your journey, sir.